What if the stories of Star Trek had been instead told on the Twilight Zone?
The following program is brought to you in living color by Trek World.
Do not be fooled by what you see. The inconsistencies, the idiosyncrasies, the errors, and indeed, even the underlying truths are not what they seem to be. Because in the Trek Zone, all five senses conspire to weave what wasn't there into what was. A lonely outpost on a distant world, a routine mission of medicine and memory. But behind familiar faces lies hunger in disguise, cloaked in affection, wrapped in longing. Tonight, the crew of the Enterprise will discover that desire itself can be the deadliest predator. In the Trek Zone, the curtain rises not on a stage, but on the silence of deep space, where the familiar can turn unrecognizable and trust wears the shape of a stranger. The surface of a lonely world spins below, rust-colored stone, gullies scoured by wind, the faint outlines of ancient ruins. A landing party materializes. Captain James Kirk, Leonard McCoy, and Darnell. They carry the confidence of uniforms pressed sharp, phasers clipped at their side, tricorders humming against the dry air. The mission seems routine. An annual medical examination for an archaeological couple. Yet the quiet of this planet carries a different kind of pulse. Inside the crumbling complex, the air is cooler, faint with the smell of ancient stone and stale dust. The hosts emerge, Professor Robert Crater and his wife Nancy. Yet, when McCoy looks upon her, the weight of years falls away. She appears as a woman he once loved, unchanged by time. Now to Kirk, her face is older, lined. To Darnell, she's a younger blonde, very flirtatious. The same woman, but three faces, each tailored to the beholder's longing or memory. Darnell lingers, drawn toward Nancy's illusion. He follows, unsteady, into the ruins. Later, they find him sprawled in the dust, lifeless, a strange red mottling on his face. Kirk crouches over him, scanning, but the desert gives no answers. McCoy's expression is a clash of grief and disbelief. Death has entered without a sound, without struggle. Only absence remains. The transporter beam hums, carrying them and the body back to the Enterprise. In the sterile white lights of sickbay, medical instruments glinting on polished trays. McCoy runs his hands across the scanner, reading impossibilities. Salt drained. The body desiccated in life, though moments ago was whole. He hesitates to voice it, but the data burns on the display. Kirk's face hardens. One death is an accident. Two would be a threat. Elsewhere on the ship, Professor Crater and his wife are put into a briefing room and are believed to be awaiting medical examination in sickbay. But as suspicion as to how Darnell died grows aboard the ship, another figure wanders the corridors, Crewman Green, the guard outside the briefing room, or rather, what wears his shape. He greets Uhura softly, his smile unfamiliar yet magnetic. His words, tinged with something foreign, slip between human and inhuman, a cadence off by half a beat. Uhura falters, unsettled yet drawn. The crewman's eyes catch the overhead glow, hungry and unblinking. The bridge hums with tension. Reports filter in. Strange behavior. Crewmen missing. Unexplained deaths. Kirk sits rigid in the command chair, Spock's steady voice relaying facts that no one really wants to accept. The evidence builds. Salt drained, bodies emptied like vessels. A predator, not a phantom, walked the Enterprise. In the lower decks, crewman Green stalks unseen. His movements are quiet but not human. The pauses are too long, steps are too soft, as if memory is imitating motion. A crewman greets him, only to fall silent when their eyes hypnotically lock. Later, another body is discovered, mottled with the same red blotches, skin gray and cold. Fear moves through the ship. Meanwhile, back in sickbay, McCoy, his face drawn, pores over reports. He insists Nancy cannot be what the facts imply. Yet, memory collides with reality. Every test points towards deception. Kirk presses his friend, sharp words cutting through sentiment. "Your woman is gone," the silence seems to echo. "What remains is something else." In the mess hall, the creature, still in Green's form, pauses at a table where salt shakers glitter in the artificial light. A hand reaches, not for food, but for the grains themselves, hunger unmasked. Another crewman enters. The predator shifts shape instantly. Nancy's face returning, smile tender and false. The illusion buys another moment. Aurora walks the corridor alone, steps rhythmic with engine thrum. A voice calls softly, her name, lilting, intimate. She turns, startled to see not Green, but a tall, dark man, face unfamiliar, yet haunting. Her breath catches. Desire mingles with fear. The creature wears what she longs for, offering tenderness wrapped in shadow. Meanwhile, Spock discovers the truth in fragments. Salt tablets missing, crew drained of life, patterns repeating. He confronts Kirk. Logic demands swift action. Sentiment must be cut away. Yet loyalty to McCoy, to Nancy's memory, keeps hesitation heavy. The captain listens, expression iron. Command requires resolve. No friendship can soften. The confrontation comes at last. In Crater's quarters, Nancy pleads with Kirk to let them remain. Yet her husband breaks. Truth spills from his lips. Nancy is gone. Years gone. What walks among them is the last of its kind. A creature once native to this world, surviving only by feeding on salt, whether from stone or from human veins. The truth, however, comes too late. The creature strikes. Crater crumples lifeless at its feet. Nancy's guide remains, but the mask slips when Spock intervenes. His fists rain down on her shoulders with Vulcan strength, but she does not flinch. Only turns with eyes alien, hunger undiminished. Spock's logic fails, or instinct reigns. McCoy enters, face pale with disbelief. To him, Nancy stands alive, vulnerable in need of protection. Kirk's voice, however, cuts through. It's not her bones, it's the creature. The doctor raises his phaser, yet hesitates, torn between memory and truth. The room narrows to one impossible choice: love's ghost or the crew's survival. The illusion shatters. For an instant, McCoy sees what Kirk and Spock see: the mottled skin, the suction-tipped hands, the gaping mouth built for salt alone, the last of its species wrapped in mimicry. His finger tightens, a lance of light erupts. The creature convulses, then collapses, form dissolving into its own true, pitiful shape. Silence holds the room. On the deck lies not Nancy, nor a woman, but a thing shaped by extinction's hunger. McCoy lowers the phaser, eyes shadowed with grief. Grief for what was lost, and grief for what he himself destroyed. Kirk's voice is low, steady, yet not unkind. She was the last of her kind. The words settle like dust, heavy and unanswerable. Later, the Enterprise resumes her voyage. The bridge hums steady, stars streaking past the viewscreen. Life returns to routine rhythm, but an absence lingers. The echo of Nancy's face, the creature behind it, still haunts McCoy in silence. No words are spoken. The frontier continues. The shadow remains. A lesson written in the silence of loss. That trust demands truth, and mercy must walk hand in hand with vigilance. For in the vastness of space, not all hungers are human, and survival often rests on seeing past the mask into the shadows of the Trek Zone.